Hi everyone and welcome to another video. In this video I'm doing my birthday book haul, which consists of quite a lot of books. So I have a lot of books to get through and to read. And then after my birthday I also bought like a couple books for myself because I had like an Amazon voucher and things like that. So yeah, got quite a big haul to get through. So I'm gonna start off with, I've got them piled up here. You can't see them in the camera, but I've got them all piled up. So I'm gonna try and get through them as quickly as I can. First off, I've got the Slam series by Colleen Hoover, and this consists of 3 books. I don't really know what this series is about too much, but I read everything Colleen Hoover writes. I love all her books. I've not been disappointed by any of them. So I've got this series finally now, and I wanted these covers specifically because I know in the UK they quite often do like the black covers. They're plain black and they just look boring, whereas these look really cool. And then also if you line them up, if I can hold them up for the camera, if you line them up, they make a butterfly, which is quite cool. Not that you put them on your shelf like that, or not that I do, I don't have the space, but it just looked quite cool. So I just wanted those covers. So I got those 3 books by Colleen Hoover. And I also got one more Colleen Hoover book, which is Heartbones, and this is a hardcover. So I don't think they've bought a paperback version of this out yet. And I prefer this cover than the old cover. The old cover had like skulls on and that, and I prefer this. It's just a little bit more bright and colourful and I like it. And I've heard that this one's quite a good summer book, so I think I'm going to read this over the summer. I've nearly read all of Colleen Hoover's books, so I'm excited to get to this one as well. I also got a couple books by Jenkins Reid. So I've got After I Do, which I've actually nearly finished. I've got about 30 pages of this one left and I'm absolutely loving this book so far. This one's, I probably would say that as of now, it's probably a 5-star, and I'm going to give this to my mum and my grandma to read because I'm really enjoying it. It's quite sad at the same time and I'm just excited to finish this. I think I'm going to finish it after I've filmed this video. I'm going to have lunch and I think I'm going to finish it with lunch. So there's that one, and I think Jenkins Reid can do no wrong. I've not read anything bad by her. She's one of my favourite authors, and I've also got Forever Interrupted by her as well. I'm not sure what this one's actually about. Okay, this sounds kind of sad actually as well. It's like a couple that got together, they eloped, got married, and then her husband gets run over and dies. So it sounds really sad actually, but I'm sure I'll really enjoy it because I just love Jenkins Reid's writing, the way she tells a story. It could be quite a boring storyline, but the way she writes it makes it sound super interesting and just really good. I don't know. So I've got those 2 by Jenkins Reid. I also got Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, and also Things We Hide From the Light, also by Lucy Score. It's the first and second book in the Knock 'Em Out series, and I think the 3rd book is coming out later on this year. I'm not too sure, but these are quite thick books. But I have heard really good things about them. I've heard more people enjoy the first one than the second one. Yeah, and they're like small town romances. But I've been dying to get to these just because I've heard everyone talk about them and everyone say how much they love them, how much they love the characters and the story, and also the covers are really cute as well. I really like the covers of these books. So yeah, that's 2 more books that I got. I also got The Fine Print, Terms and Conditions, and The Final Offer, all by Laura Nasher. I have read one book by Laura Nasher before, and that was Throttled. I think it's the first in the Dirty Air series, and that was like her first book, I think, or her first series, and I wasn't too impressed with that, but I've heard amazing things about these. I've heard they're so good, so I finally got my hands on them. This last one's really thick actually as well. Each book follows a different couple, and I didn't realise inside these books they've got really cool starts to the chapters, and each book has like a different theme. So obviously this book's about this book's focused around the theme park, hence why that was like a roller coaster kind of picture. And then there's this one here where the chapter starts with a picture of a dress, and the guys' chapters start off with a picture of the suit. And then the 3rd book, I think it's set around a lake house or something. I'm not entirely sure, I could be completely wrong, but the pictures in this chapter starts, it's really cute. So, and then for the girls chapter there's like cakes and stuff, which is cute. So yeah, I just thought that's a cute addition. That was quite a nice surprise when I opened the books and saw that. I just like little things like that. I don't know, small things please small minds apparently. And then I also got Legend Born and Blood Marked by Tracy Dion, and I've heard really good things about this series as well. I don't know if this is a duology or whether there's going to be any more in the series, I'm not entirely sure. But God, when I opened these, the font is absolutely tiny. Don't know if you can tell, but that's like way smaller than the average book. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need like glasses to read that. But anyway, I've heard really good things about this fantasy series and I'm excited to get to experience it for myself. Again, I don't know a huge amount about this series either. I've heard just other people saying that it's really, really good and that they loved it, so I'm sure I will as well. I don't tend to like to know too much about books before I go into them. I like the surprise of not knowing, but yeah, I have had these recommended, so I'm gonna have to move the camera now. There we go. It's because I'm balancing the camera on some of the books that I wanted to just show you, so I had to move them and put some other books underneath. I also got the Red Queen box set, which was from my fiance. It's like a YA fantasy series. I've just got the books out of the box just so I can show you. So there's Red Queen, which is the first book in the series. And the only thing I really know about this series is that there's people with red blood and there's people with silver blood. And then there's the main character, I think it turns out that she is both. And that's like the basic starting idea of it. But I've heard really good things about this series. I've heard some people saying that after the first book it goes downhill, like the last book isn't that good. But you know, I can form my own opinion. There's been other books that other people have not liked that much that I have. But anyway, as a whole, I've heard good things about the series. So there's the first book, Red Queen. The next book, Glass Sword. They get thicker and thicker as they go as well, which I think is quite common with fantasy series. And there's King's Cage. And the final book, which is a chunker, which is Warstorm. And this is the one that people said they're not too keen on, this last book. But yeah, I'll form my own opinion. And then the box set also comes with Broken Throne, which is like a collection of novellas that I think you could read. I'll look up the recommended reading order, I'm not entirely sure. Let me know in the comments below if you know what order to read the novellas in or when to read the novellas. But I think you kind of can read them intertwined with the books, which kind of just add extra bits to the series. So yeah, the box set comes with that as well, to try and fit them back in. I hate trying to fit books back into these boxes because they never go. There we go. They fit now, but once you've read them and the books like puff out a little bit, it's really hard to get them back in the box, so then I end up usually just chucking the box in the bin. But for now, I'm keeping them in the nice little box. And also from my fiance, I also got Serpent and Dove trilogy, which I've heard really good things about as well. And I'll get these ones out as well. And also, when I took these out, I felt them and I was like, oh, they're so floppy. Which I'm in love with, because then you don't have to break the spines. And I just love, you can just lay it flat. I love books that you can do that with. I swear in the UK you can't do that with many books. I see like people who live in the US and that doing book hauls and talking about books, and most of theirs are so floppy. I'm so jealous, but in the UK they're usually really stiff, but these ones are nice. So anyway, this trilogy consists of Serpent and Dove, Blood and Honey, and Gods and Monsters. And these covers are pretty cool as well. I quite like the covers of these. So I got that box set as well, so I did get two big box sets. Okay, and that is all the books that I got given for my birthday. And then after that, I did buy some on Amazon. I've only got 4 of the books here that I bought. I didn't go too crazy because I've got enough on my plate to read. I wanted to get into Stephen King, so I bought this book, which is 3 books that he wrote when he was younger under the name of Richard Buckman. And there's 3 books in here. I have read the first book in this book, so that's why there's a bookmark in it, because I've read the first book. The books don't entwine in any way. It's just a bind up of 3 of his books basically. So I've read the first one, and then there's 2 more in here as well. And this is also a really nice floppy book, which I'm liking. This book, the pages are like Bible pages. They're so thin. So this book's actually nearly 1,000 pages long, but it doesn't necessarily look it, but the pages are so thin. And then I also bought Night Shift by Stephen King, which is a collection of short stories, and I heard this one is his best collection of short stories, so I thought this would be a good place to start with them. And apparently some of them are really scary, so I'm excited about that because I do like a good horror movie, so hopefully I will enjoy horror in books, which I'm not used to reading, but yeah. And then also on Amazon I bought this book, which isn't Stephen King. This is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I've been wanting to read this for a while. I've heard some really good things about this book. I've heard loads of people give this book 5 out of 5 stars, and I'm really in the mood for a good thriller. And I think it's about a couple who go on like a trip together, and something dark happens and they wonder if they can actually trust each other even though they've been together like 10 years. That's all I know really. But it's quite a thin book, so it should be quick to get through. I love a good quick thriller as well, so I am excited about this. And then also I read online that in order to understand some of the stories in Night Shift, you have to read Salem's Lot by Stephen King. So then I found this book on Vinted, which I'm obsessed with Vinted at the moment. I've literally always scrolling through there trying to find good bargains. But anyway, so I picked up this book. I didn't realise it's actually like smaller, but anyway, it doesn't bother me too much. Not in too bad condition either, so I'm pleased with that. So this book, all I know about it really is it's about vampires, but like not Twilight kind of vampires. This is about like scary, horrible, like, yeah, really scary kind of vampires. And the setting that this is set in, quite a lot of these stories apparently revolve around. So it was recommended to read this one first to kind of get the full experience. So I thought, okay, I better buy this one then, just an excuse to buy another book. So yeah, now I have a few Stephen King books, and I have read the first one in here, as I said, and I did really enjoy it. So I think I'm going to love Stephen King, and he has literally like over 70 books out, which is crazy. So if I do like Stephen King, it's going to keep me very busy. So that was 25 books in that haul. I didn't realise it's quite that much, but I am literally obsessed with getting new books. I swear, like, book buying and getting new books is a completely different hobby to reading them, although obviously I adore reading them and I read all the time. I don't know what it is about getting new books, it just makes me so excited. I don't know why. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!